Hi everyone, Justine Leslie here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I help awaken, sensitive, and empathic souls intuitively navigate this crazy world. And today I want to talk about this is an interesting topic. I don't even know what category to put it in, but basically I want to talk about four main things that we are given. By the way, I noticed how creepy that photo is. I just want to acknowledge that really quick, staring at you. I thought it was pretty fitting because it's pretty trippy, and I feel like I am as well. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about the four things that that I guess we'll call it tools, four tools that we are given for the human experience when we come here. So basically, I guess we'll call them four human tools because, and if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know I kind of separate the two, right? So let's start there. Let's start with what am I talking about as a human, right? So let's break that down. We understand that we are actually spiritual beings having a human experience and not the other way around. So when somebody discovers spirituality, they are not discovering something new. What happens when we have spiritual awakenings is that we are discovering not something new, but who we actually are. So we're actually doing what I call remembering. So we are remembering who we are, and basically that's remembering our soul. So a lot of this stuff is going to talk about. If you're watching my channel, you've most likely been through a spiritual awakening already. It's really hard to kind of explain. It's not that all of a sudden somebody does yoga or meditation. It's much more complex than that. And again, if you've been through one, you understand what I mean. So anyway, we have tools that universe, God, source energy, whatever you want to reference and call it, that really help us navigate this crazy world, right? Because it's really hard to be here, right? The human experience is actually not supposed to be easy. Unfortunately, it's supposed to be hard. And what I mean by that is that life is simple, but it's really fucking hard, right? Excuse my language, but yeah, it's really hard, right? So the universe gave us tools for us to navigate, and they're actually for our benefit. Some of them you could argue, but they really are for our benefit. So I really want to point these out. Maybe you guys know some of these already, but let me just jump right into it. You know me, I like getting straight to the point, so let's go ahead and do that. So first one, this is probably one we don't hear too often. This one is actually the veil of forgetting. So basically the veil of forgetting is basically what the universe does to our consciousness to come here. So let me back up a little bit. So first things first, we as a human experience, this isn't our first time most of the time, right? There are some new souls. Most people are old souls, right? That reincarnate over and over and over again until we learn the lessons, until our karmic debt is fulfilled, until we reach enlightenment like our ascended masters, right? So basically we have this, every time we come here, we have a separate soul contract. So basically you sign a contract to get here. And in this particular contract, everybody's is absolutely different. And every time you go to a different lifetime, unless you haven't learned the lesson, usually the contracts differ. But anyway, so it's not like an exact paper contract. It's really a verbal contract, a spiritual contract. Not really verbal, right? Because there's no such thing as language. The language is very different in the ethers. So on the other side, I guess we could say, I actually haven't gotten a term that I feel super comfortable with. So let's go with the ethers for now. That we signed to get here. And basically, I love this because I read this the other day. We don't get the answers to the test. So basically, we come here as old souls, but we are given the veil of forgetting. So we actually forget everything about the universe and the ethers, okay? We forget everything, and it's intended to be that way. That's part of the contract. That's part of the human experience. We do not get the answers to the test before the test, right? And this is really a test. We must figure all this stuff out for ourselves. So this veil of forgetting, and again, you can think of it as like, some people think it's in your consciousness, so it's like in your brain. They say it's the thin film between your left and your right brain. Others say it lives up here, so it could be pierced. And that's the thing, it can be pierced, and it usually does. So the fact of where it actually is just our ego mind trying to intellectualize this and see it as a concept. Let's not get into that, guys. It's not important. Because I forgot. Get it? See what I did there? We don't know everything. I actually have had a spiritual awakening where my veil was pierced. That's how I actually know all of this, is because I was able to remember who I was. I was able to remember the ethers and the universe and go to that realm whenever I pleased. I was just thinking about it this morning. It was super trippy. Excuse me. So that's what the veil of forgetting is. We can get it pierced with, again, spiritual awakenings, psychedelic experiences, which does create a spiritual awakening. A psychotic break happens often. You guys know how I feel, I think, about mental illness. I don't think a lot of people are mentally ill. I think they're just extremely conscious or have had their veil of forgetting pierced in some way. So there's definitely lots of different ways that it can get pierced. But that's the tool we're given. Right? It would be really bizarre if we came into this world with it, or like us already remembering where we came from. The whole point is figuring that out. That's the whole spiritual experience, right? So it's a tool. I know it would be nice to remember some of our past lives and things like that, but it doesn't work that way. We have to do the work. We do not get the answers to the test, okay? Okay, so the second one, I already kind of mentioned it already. We have ego. We are given an ego for the human experience. Guys, we cannot survive this human planet without an ego. A lot of people in the spiritual community too really say that the ego is the enemy. The ego is not the enemy. The enemy is the overextension of the ego, or the ego as a master. Ego is just a tool, right? We're putting it in this category to allow us to live this human experience the best way that we know how. And we cannot be human beings without an ego. If you have had either a Kundalini experience or a spiritual awakening, you have heard the term, or dark night of the soul, you have heard of the term ego death, right? Ego death, ego death, ego death. And that's what's part of the spiritual awakening experience. And in my professional opinion, and I've spoken to many people that have gone through the same experience, is that is the worst part, because your ego gets completely taken away from you. Temporarily, right? My ego is very well in place now. I'm very happy about it. Do I try to keep it in check? Yes, but that's because I'm human. And I'm having the human experience. So when you get your ego taken away, basically your personality gets taken away, and you're just kind of left completely vulnerable, completely without like any boundaries, absolutely no ego. I can't even put into words the feeling, but again, most people that follow me are on the spiritual path, so you understand what I mean. A lot of the stuff you really can't intellectualize, but the ego is a tool. We must use it accordingly. Again, overextension of the ego, or the ego as a master, is the enemy, not the ego itself. This is why I talk a lot on my channel about narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, because what are they? The overextension of the ego, right? So I don't just talk about them to talk about them, and because I've had an experience with a lot of them being empathic, it's really, that's what is the cancer of society and cancer of the human experience, okay? Okay, 3, intuition. Guys, intuition. My favorite topic. My favorite topic. I'm running a whole course on it, but I could talk about it forever. But what I want to talk about, a couple of points. Number 1, everybody is intuitive. I don't care if you say that you're not gifted. I don't care if you say you're super logical. I don't care. You have it. It's a muscle, okay? You just have to work it out. We have all had psychic experiences one way or another. thinking about somebody and then the phone rings, feeling somebody staring at you. There are so many different deja vu, for example. I know science people, we can put scientific fact behind that. Okay, I get it. But you know what's true by the way it feels, right? That's all I have to say to that. But yeah, so those are psychic experiences. Those are intuitive experiences. We are all intuitive. We just, again, choose not to use that tool. And the universe gives us this tool because life is freaking hard. Life is hard. And basically, we need guidance, right? So we need to really get on that aligned path in some way, shape, or form. So universe gives us intuition to really guide ourselves through this crazy world. Again, that's what I do. I help you guys navigate the human experience for the most part, but it's really, as a sensitive person, but it's really hard. So really moving into, and that's the other thing that people don't really get, is that we are here to feel good. So we are here to have a happy existence. I know I'm saying how hard it is, it's difficult, blah, blah, blah. I totally get that. But we're also on the same side of that, right? Because there's the law of polarity, which means that if life is really hard, life can be really good at the same time. So that's the beauty of it. So that's where intuition is really a good bonus, right? Which is awesome. We have this God-given gift, universal gift. We all have it. It's just a muscle that we really need to work out. So that's the third one and my favorite. Okay, and the fourth one, I don't know if this is super obvious, but I had to keep it on this list. Your body. Guys, I'm a soul speaking to you right now, but I wouldn't be speaking to you if I didn't have all of this, right? This is the vessel that keeps our soul, right? So even though a soul can be without a body in spirit form and all of that stuff, I cannot fulfill what I need to fulfill in this lifetime as Justine without my human body. So my body is a tool. And that's why it's so important to take care of your health and take care of your wellness and make sure you're eating foods that are good for your body and keeping it clean and drinking lots of water. And by the way, all of these things too are connected to that last one, intuition, keeping our body clean so we can actually feel our feelings and feel our intuition and all that stuff. See, it's all connected. But we really need this body to operate at all. I don't know if that's super obvious to you guys, but it's so true. So let me recap for you guys. Number 1, the veil of forgetting. Number 2, the ego. 3, intuition. And 4, our actual human bodies. So cool. All right, guys. Hopefully this was helpful. Maybe this is stuff you've already known, but I really wanted to make this list and really make you guys realize that we do have a lot of tools for this human experience that we are all experiencing. If you're watching this, obviously you're a human. It's difficult, a difficult journey. But again, Spirit does give us these tools so we can navigate it correctly and try to fulfill our soul contracts and really work through all of the karmic debt that we do have. Cool. All right. If this resonated with you guys, please put it in the comments. I love reading your comments, guys. It's so great. And if there's anything else you want to add to, any other tools that maybe I missed, go ahead and put that down below. Okay. Thank you, guys. I will see you next time. Bye.